Hello, Charlie. I'm very honored to have you and interview you. And I want to find out all about your near-death experience and how it changed your life.
Well, I'm honored to be on your show, Quiva. Thank you for having me. I guess how do I even start or where do I start? It's like I'm starting in the middle, then I'm going back, and then I'll go forward again.
Okay.
Because I had spiritual experiences, and only now I'm comfortable saying I had near-death experiences,
Okay.
but I forgot about them throughout
Okay.
my life. Then in December 2018, I got meningitis.
Okay.
It was between Christmas and New Year, and I ended up in hospital, not knowing if I was going to survive the night. And I was scared of dying at first. And I was thinking about my children, if two sons. And I just decided to meditate and calm everything down because I knew my system was fighting to keep me alive. And if you're anxious, that weakens the immune system. So I meditated, did mindfulness meditation, and this great calm came over me. It was very, very calm and peaceful. And it was like, I remembered, oh, I've done this thousands of times. I've died thousands of times and come back and look, I'm okay.
Very good.
So, yeah, I knew, I had an understanding that if I died, everything would be fine. Now, that's a weird thing to say,
Okay, that's okay.
but
Okay.
I just couldn't remember what was on the other side. And I said, God, I prefer to stay because I want to be around for my children. But if it's time for me to go, then okay, I'll go, but look after them.
Okay.
So, and I was incredibly peaceful and calm then, like there was nothing in the world that could have scared me that night. But anyway, I survived. It took me 2 years to fully recover from meningitis. I was out of work for 9 months and I was sleeping about 18 hours a day for 3 months. And when I got to the stage that I was, sleeping only 12 hours a day, that I thought that's great progress. So anyway, it took 2 years, but my brain wasn't working, yet my consciousness was fine. I was aware of everything that was going on around me. I remember one time my son was saying, I can't find my book and I can't find my cup. And, I've been around the house. I saw his cup on the kitchen table and his book was on the desk in his bedroom. So I knew where they were, but I couldn't find the words to tell him where they were. The words were just gone. So that's an example I used to say how my consciousness was wide awake, but my brain wasn't working.
Wow.
Now, eventually, it all recovered. But the way we say that our brain can get in the way of our spirit, our spirit's knowing at times. So that was actually a great opportunity for me to. It's not that I planned it this way, but I started having spiritual experiences and hearing a telepathic voice when I'd have a question, it would give me advice about what to do, and then I would do it, and it would turn out to be the right thing. And I was watching Amazon Prime one day, and a near-death experiencer came on, and I was so interested, and heard from her that it's all love on the other side. And then I remembered I was watching the Late Late Show when I was about somewhere between 10 and 12 years old, back in the early 80s. And there were four or five near-death experiencers there
Wow.
at the time, but they didn't call them that. They didn't have a label. Well, I think the label did exist, but it hadn't come to Ireland. So they were called people who died and came back to life. There was nothing near about the situation. And they were saying all the same things that near-death experiencers say now. They had a great message for everyone. And um, I started to look up other near-death experiencers, and I found Peter Panagore in Maine, in the United States, and he had an online group. I joined that for about 2 years. Another person was interviewed on YouTube. Brooke Grove is her name, a great healer, near-death experiencer, and the telepathic voice told me make contact with her. Like she hadn't even said a word. She was being introduced. I said, I'm not doing that. She's going to think I'm weird.
Oh,
I'm going
gee.
to freak her out. And
Yeah.
then I said, hold on, why am I talking to a voice?
Yeah.
And I don't know where she is anyway, so there's no way I can contact her. So there,
Yeah.
I won.
Very good.
But it turned out she knew Peter Panagore, and I was in his group, and she showed up in the group, and we ended up talking. And we both had, well, she's open about saying she had stuff to heal from, and so did I. But we kind of helped each other for a couple of years, and still a great person. We're not so much in contact now, though.
Mm.
Then I met other near-death experiencers, but memories started to come back. Now, I remembered when I was about 9 years old, there was a hill. I grew up in the countryside in County Roscommon, near the shores of Lough Co, and there was a big hill near our house, and it was fun to get on your bike and go down the hill as fast as you could.
Oh, very
But
good.
there were potholes at the end of at the bottom of the hill, and I went down, lost control of my bike, fell off, and hit my head on the road really hard.
Ooh,
Now, I remembered that bit, and I remembered taking a long time to get up, and my bike was all mangled. I went back to the house, which was a few hundred yards away. But only in the last year or so, maybe 2 years, I remembered that I went outside my body, and I was kind of surprised and confused, and like I could see all the surroundings as if I was in my body and looking at it with my eyes, but I was some sort of consciousness outside my body, observing everything. And I said to God, I don't want to die yet. I can't die. And I was felt like I was, trying to push forward like this, trying to get back into my body, and it wasn't working. I didn't know what to do, but somehow I got back inside, and physically I was unconscious, and I felt myself coming around from being unconscious, and oh, pain in my all over my body, especially my head.
okay.
But took a long time before I could stand up and picked up the bike and made my way back to the house. And there was only one family member there who I always felt safe around. My brother told him what happened, but this was 1979, so nowadays you'd be rushed off to hospital, which is probably the right thing to do. But he get me a lift into town, got me ice cream, and that was it. I'm pretty sure it was a Cornetto. It was very fancy at the time.
Very fancy.
But I forgot about that experience and so many other spiritual experiences. I forgot about them almost straight away, or I denied them.
Okay.
But I'll tell you about the lead up to the next one.
Okay.
And I'm going to give a trigger warning here because I'm talking about suicidality.
Okay.
And I had struggled with suicidal thoughts from the age of 13 to about 17. When I was 17, I started doing martial arts and felt I was getting some control of my life. And then there was a massive crisis in my family when I was 19, and it absolutely uh, just devastated my world. I felt completely broken. And yeah, so I'll tell you about the build up, okay? So I was 20 years old. I'd spent a year really confused, not wanting to be alive, but trying to hold it together. Then I was living in Sligo at that stage, and I one night I had enough. So I went down to a bridge. There's a motorway crossing that bridge now, but it was under construction at the time. It's kind of near where the river Garavogue is about to go into the sea. So I was leaned over the bridge for a long time, and I knew people who had been, they had a makeshift raft that came apart under that bridge a year earlier, and they were good swimmers, and they really struggled to get to the shore, and they thought they were going to drown. So I thought if I go in there, it'll be hard to come out, and then all this pain will be over. I won't have to suffer anymore, and I'll cease to exist. But then I said, okay, God, if you do exist, like I was atheist at this stage,
Mm.
I'd lost all faith in religion at this point. So I said, God, just in case you do exist, if there's anything that's going to stop me, I need it now. if there's any reason for me not to die, I need it now. Next thing, I feel a presence to my right, and I look over and I see a being made of thousands of particles of light. And I could see the head and the shoulders and straight down. And I swore at this being, saying, "Oh, so you do effing exist? Where were you? Where were you this past year?"
Yeah.
'Cause I couldn't believe a loving God would let those terrible things happen that drove me to feeling suicidal. But there was no judgment from this being, no anger, no, "Oh well, if that's your attitude, I'm out of here." He just gave me information telepathically, um, with no judgment. Just, you look up something on Google and this is the fact. So this being said to me, if you kill your body, you will not die. Um, and you will face this now or you will face it another time.
Wow.
Yeah. That's the way I felt. I was shocked.
Yeah. I would be too.
Yeah, because I'd never considered reincarnation before.
Yeah.
I didn't like my only sort of spiritual, if you could call it that, upbringing was the Catholic Church, which I had rejected by then. And we were pretty much isolated from other cultures or other ways of thinking back in those days. So, but the message was very clear. You're an eternal being. If you kill your body, you will not die, and you'll come back and you'll face this again, or if you don't face it now. So, telepathically, I said to the being, "Okay, I'll do it now because I'm not going through those 20 years again."
Yes. Lucky
And
you.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So, and I knew the message was real,
Mhm.
but I was very angry, very, very upset that this is how it had to be. But anyway, I said, okay, I'll choose to live my life and go through it. But I said, you better effing make it worth my while.
Very good.
I've apologized to that being since, but there was no anger, no judgment, no nothing ever to worry about. It didn't affect that being whatsoever in any way, like it might affect a human being. So, I moved to Dublin then because I had tried counselling in Sligo, but it wasn't what I needed. I moved to Dublin. Some of my family had got counselling there, so I thought I'll try with the person there going to. And I said I need a job though, so I walked down to a building site and was told there are no jobs. It's where the IFSC is now,
I know that place.
the Irish Financial Services Centre. So all those buildings were being built at that stage in 1990, yeah, 1990, after the World Cup, after Italia 90.
Okay.
And I was walking off the building site, and this guy called out to me and said, "Are you looking for a job?" He was a subcontractor, and I said, "Yeah." And he says, "When can you start?" And I think this was a Friday. I said, "I have to go back to Sligo and get my stuff, and I can start on Monday." And he said, "Okay." So, moved to Dublin. I didn't have a home to stay in. I was staying in a hostel, and that job ended after about 3 months. So then I was officially homeless, but I was staying in the hostel, but I was going to the old Charles Street office for my rent allowance and my homeless person's allowances, whatever they were at the time. And I was really depressed again, saying, how can I live like this? How am I supposed to live like this? And I was lying in bed one night and I said to God, okay, I know I can't end my life because I'm not going through this another time. I said, but I want you to take me. I want to die tonight, but I'm asking you to take me. I'm asking you to take me. Please take me out of this situation. So, next thing I know, I'm in a place filled with light and, there are all these buildings, like ancient Greek buildings, and looking around and walking along, I thought, this place is beautiful. Nice blue sky, everything, all the buildings, everything is made of light. And it's funny because I didn't think about this before, but from being in the hostel, being so distraught, And suddenly I'm in this beautiful place. So, oh, this is lovely. How did that happen? How did I get from one place to another? I have no idea how it happened, but I guess God answered my prayer. So he did take me, or he, she, whatever. God is genderless. But anyway, I'm there in this space and walking along, and the next thing I notice, there's somebody on my right side walking alongside me and talking to me. And it's like, the way you're so focused on something, you don't realize somebody's talking to you, and then you turn, oh,
Yeah,
hey, how are you?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And again, it was like an old friend that I'd forgotten about. And I call him the ancient Greek because he's wearing the long white robe, and the buildings had this Greek style, and as far as I was concerned. And he had short curly hair and a short curly beard, and I imagined, I didn't know his name. I imagined that it was an ancient Greek person. No, I didn't know, I just kept calling him the ancient Greek when I would remember him. And I met Lorna Byrne in 2023, and I came to the conclusion that was my guardian angel. But I checked again in recent days, and apparently it was Jesus,
Wow.
but not Jesus that Catholic Church told me about, but who Jesus really is. And when I don't know if you saw my interview with Yvonne Sneeden. Oh, I think I sent it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I met her and she described her NDE to me, and I said, that's real Jesus, you know. Um, but yeah, I still have. I guess I couldn't have equated real Jesus with what I saw at the time because I had this. I don't know, this notion if you're good, you go to heaven. If you're bad, you go to hell. And no matter how you try, you can never be perfect, so you're going to hell anyway. So I couldn't relate to religion, you know. But
Yeah.
anyway, it felt very, very peaceful to be in his presence and like with an old friend and someone who was watching out for me and feeling emotional thinking about it, someone who really cares and wants the best for you. And there were other beings, about maybe 3 foot tall, also dressed in white robes made of light. And the hair, okay, it wasn't hair, it was light, but it was where the hair would be on a person. And it was like they were almost wearing a helmet.
Okay, okay.
It wasn't a helmet, but it was
Yeah.
like just the hair stood out for me for some reason. And they were all four of them. There were three of them that I recall, and there was this ancient Greek, and they were all treating me like I was, with the greatest reverence, like I was royalty, like I was the most important person ever to exist. But that's how they see us all, you know?
I think that's beautiful.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And it's beautiful to have that memory. But I'm not saying I'm more special than anyone else.
Of course, of course, of
But
course.
but that's how they see us all. That's such incredible reverence and love and respect and at our service. They were there to serve me and to give me whatever I needed, whatever I wanted. And I don't recall everything. I don't recall details of the conversations we had, but um it was very comforting to be in their presence. The next thing there's like a little pinpoint of light and suddenly it's a big flash of light in front of me. And this small guy steps out, leg first, and he has long gray hair, and he's kind of short and stout, and like something you'd see in Lord of the Rings,
Right, okay.
except this being was all white and made of light, and I felt a little bit scared because I understood this to be God. But I had the religious idea of God. I said, "Oh God, oh God," he knows all my faults and my limitations and my challenges. And when I swore at that being that came to help me, I thought I'm in trouble now. I'm really in trouble now.
Oh dear. Yeah.
But he looked at me, and then he looked at the ancient Greek, and like it's like he knew my thoughts that I was nervous to deal with him. So he turns to the ancient Greek and said, "Oh, will you deal with him?" And the ancient Greek said, "I thought you were going to deal with him." I said, "Well, no, no, I'm asking you, will you do it now?" And they have this back and forth for a little while.
Very
And
good.
I was saying, "Oh, please let it be the ancient Greek," in my mind. And then the ancient Greeks said, okay, I'll do it. I'll deal with him. And this short looking person that looked to be like God with the big long beard and the long hair
Oh,
just respected my choice.
very good.
When I think about it now, the respect, I'm so tiny compared to the creator of the universe. So, okay, I respect your choice. I'll step back. And he stepped back into the light and it disappeared again.
And was it like a review that you got, or was it just like you when you were there was a review on you, and then then when the review was over, you had a choice or something to go back.
Yeah, that summarizes it.
Yeah.
So it was a life review.
Yes. Yes.
So the ancient Greek is telling me, well, you had so many questions about your life and why things happened the way they did, and why you were abused, why you grew
Yes.
up in an abusive household, why you're so sensitive in 1970s, 80s Ireland, where I don't know, sensitivity wasn't really respected or appreciated, why I was bullied, all these, why I felt so lonely and suicidal from the age of 13 and isolated. And he started to explain everything to me. It's like we were looking into something. It's like there was in a church where you have this kind of, what do they call it?
Uh,
A lectern or a pulpit where they've the Bible on top and
oh
the
yes, I do. Yeah.
priest, somebody comes up and reads from the Bible.
Yes.
So I don't know if you were looking into a book or into a screen, but all the answers were in there. Why this had happened and why that had happened and why I had all these different experiences. And from that point of view, everything made sense. Everything absolutely made sense. And I couldn't complain. I could not complain about my life when I saw that and when I realized it and when I understood it. And yeah, and every now and then some of the smaller beings would step forward to tell me something. They took turns stepping forward and stepping back, but I found it really difficult to understand what they were saying at
Yeah.
times. It's like I couldn't follow the language, or it's like the knowledge they were giving me was too much for me to absorb. So I turned to the ancient Greek and said, "Can you tell me what they're trying to say?" So they all stood back, humbly, like bowing, hands together, stood back, and he explained everything about my life, and then he showed me my whole future of this lifetime. When I've said this to people before, they said, "Oh, do you remember telling me this? Do you remember this conversation?" And I don't.
Oh,
I
no.
don't. I don't remember my future.
Okay.
But I was shown everything. I know that I was shown everything, and I was shown that I would have an impact on people and on humanity in a way that would be helpful for people and humanity.
Wow. I just
And
got
it,
shivers up my spine. Sorry.
yeah, yeah. But it's not just the people that I would meet. It would be, the ripple effect.
Yes. Yes.
So if you're having a bad day and I say something that's kind and makes you feel better, then you're in a better mood, and then the people you meet that day, you'll have a positive impact on them,
Yes.
and
Yes.
they'll have an impact on someone else. So it spreads out. It's like every human being is linked, is what I was shown, and what one human being does affects everyone.
We're all connected in some way.
Yeah,
We're all connected to each.
yeah. So I saw that whole connection and how what one person does impacts everyone else.
Mm.
So I understood it was so important that I didn't take my life
Yes.
because I had a mission. Now, just to give you a metaphor,
Yeah.
I work in the mental health service and I'm in the HSE. I'm not representing the HSE now, but I have to say that
Yes.
because my contract doesn't allow me to represent them. But
Okay.
one time, I'm a social worker in the HSE and I'm also a psychotherapist.
Mhm.
But what was I going to say? Yes, we did a project one time, myself and another social worker. We set up this project in Ballyfermot Library, and we had about we had several mental health service users who would have their struggles in life. And the idea of the project was we built a jigsaw puzzle, 24,000 pieces. and it took us 2 years to do it. Thursday evenings and Friday mornings for a couple of hours each day. Um, but we would have challenges along the way. It was like kind of a safe kind of challenge. When you get frustrated making a jigsaw puzzle,
Yes,
it's
yes.
okay. How are you going to deal with that frustration? And just stop, just walk away from it for a while. Yeah, everyone had found their way. They just walk away for a while, and then they come back and maybe they try something else. So, and there was a lot of humor as well.
Good. Like,
We laughed so much.
that's good. Good to
Yeah, it
laugh.
was great crack. It was brilliant fun. And we got it done, but when it was all completed, one piece was missing. And I mean, this thing was about 1.8 meters tall and about 6 meters wide, you know? So we ended up donating it to the Laura Lynn Foundation because it had so many colorful scenes from life. It was called Life, and then it was there with the Laura Lynn Foundation, which is an organization for children who have terminal illness. And it had so many fascinating details. We thought, children do mindfulness naturally. And we thought, looking at this massive, colorful, beautiful picture, it would, take them out of whatever suffering they were going through.
Yes, brilliant.
And it was also significant because quite a few people there, well, including myself, had had suicidal thinking in the past. And, we were all adults at this stage. And, well, these kids, they're not even going to make it to adulthood. So it was deep in so many ways. And we knew it was going to be deep. But one piece was missing. And everybody was trying to see if we could find a piece from another jigsaw puzzle to put in there, but it didn't fit or was the wrong shade of blue. I remember it was a piece of sky. It was the wrong shade of blue, and people were coming up with all sorts of ideas, but none of them were working. So eventually, the other social worker, she bought a new handbag and emptied out her old one, and there was the missing piece.
Oh,
So
nothing. That's
she
how it
found it
was.
4 months earlier and put it in her handbag and forgot about it.
Oh,
But we were all so excited when we found that piece and we put it in the right place and everybody cheered
oh, brilliant.
and the picture was complete. But that's the metaphor I use to show how we were all connected and how, it didn't matter that we had 23,999 pieces in place. One was missing,
Oh, yeah.
you
Yeah.
know? So that's how important life is and how the contribution we have, each and every one of us, and how we affect the world around us.
Yeah.
So I remember in my experience so excited, that I could do something because my esteem was really low on earth at the time. I did not believe in myself, didn't even know if I could survive. But I was so excited to realize that I had this mission. And the ancient Greeks said to me, "Okay, you ready to go back?" And I said, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, let me back." Couldn't wait to get back.
Yeah.
And next thing, I'm back in my body, lying in my bed, and I'm going, oh no. I was like where I was, it was beautiful, it was joyful, I was treated with such respect and reverence and love, and now I'm back with all my psychological pain and my depression and my misery, and I have to get up and face the day, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was kind of the okay, I was able to face the day. I survived. I mean, that's 35 years ago.
Yeah.
And I've had a lot of experiences since then, some challenging, some wonderful, but they've all made me the person I am today, and I'm not finished yet.
That is amazing. I think that's an incredible story. I mean, I had shivers coming down my spine when we were telling that story, and I think your story is very impacted my I think me as well. Like because I'm listening to your story, and I think that it's just so inspiring and so inspiring to for people as well because it's very important to connect with people as well with
Mhm.
stories and stories that inspire people to move forward with it as well. And I think your story is fantastic, and it's really, really, geez, it's fantastic. I think it's very moving as well.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah.
And I think the time has come to the end because it's only about 3 or 4 minutes left.
Oh,
Yeah.
uh, I was I was going to tell you some other bits and pieces. Or I don't know how much time you have.
Uh, I can add time on. Could I?
Oh, I see what you mean.
Oh, hold on. I'll try it. I don't know how I can. We can talk again if we want to, if that's okay. Um,
Yeah, I can come back another time and tell you more stories if you
yes,
like.
but I find it very moving and inspiring and very, and I'm so grateful like that you're telling your story. I think my tears are welling up my eyes because your story was very good. And I really appreciate your story, Charlie. It really moved people, and I think it could be move a lot of people as well. And I think you're doing a fantastic job. And I think that, like, you inspire people to move forward in their life. So if I didn't say that again, if I repeated myself, sorry.
Well, thank you. I hope I am having the impact that I saw that I would have. There's a lot of I don't know if there's anyone. I don't think there is anyone in the world that doesn't go through suffering at some stage. But when I've been through tough times since then as well, but even though I don't remember what I was told or the reasons why I go through it, I know there's a reason, and there is meaning in every experience, and it's just about extracting the meaning from, the individual, what the meaning is for me, what the meaning is for you, or for whoever's out there watching this. There's meaning in everything. We just have to find it.
I think that's it. I think that is very. I moved. I don't know. Sometimes I don't know what words I can express to say. And when I repeat myself, I don't mean to repeat myself over and over again, but I think it is very moving and um, just it gets to you. It just gets to you, and it sends shivers down my spine as well. Because when I hear that, I get shivers down my spine. And when I hear you talking about the beans and they're telling reviewing you and everything like that, I still get shivers down my spine,
Yeah.
and it's just incredible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's one more spiritual dream I had. I'll see if I can fit it in here.
Yes, yes,
But
please.
but but this is relevant and it relates to the story I've told you, okay? So in my early 20s, I joined a group, an organization that teaches philosophy and is trying to understand the universal principles in all religions throughout all times and spaces. I was so into understanding the universal principles. And this Argentinian guy called Fernando Schwartz came over. He was living in Paris. I don't know if he's still alive. He came over from Paris for a few days and gave this fantastic workshop and really opened my eyes to so many things. But after he was gone back, I had a dream one night. So I was dreaming I was in the house where I grew up in Roscommon. And there was those of us who were at the meeting with Fernando. We were sitting around a table in the house and suddenly the table started to shake. And I said, oh, this isn't good. And I was holding onto the table. And then the legs started to rattle and fall off the table. And I was trying to hold it together. And next thing, the floor started to shake and the walls started to shake and all the building started to crumble and collapse all around me. And I thought, oh, there's no point trying. It's all falling apart.
Yeah.
No, does this sound like what we can go through in life? So everything was falling apart. And I was looking at the rubble, saying, well, that didn't work out very well. But then I found a brick in the rubble and I thought, oh, that's a good brick. Could build something with that. And another brick and another. And there were so many bricks. And I thought, I could build something out of all this rubble. What am I going to build? And I thought, I know, I'll build a hospital for the soul because that's what we need. That's
Yes.
what humanity needs.
And it's
So in the dream, I built this huge, 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 massive hospital. And I mean, standing at the front, you could look left and right, and you couldn't see where the building ended. And looking up it was so, so tall, incredibly tall. And I walked into reception, and there was, I thought I was, no, sorry, I was talking to people outside the building first, and I said, I have to go in and work now. So they said, okay. I went in, and at reception, there was somebody sitting there, another guy who had been at that meeting with Fernando. And I said, what are you doing here? And he says, there's nobody to do reception. And I said, oh, well, you go in and you do something else. I'll meet the people when they come in. And so I was sitting at reception at this hospital for the soul. But anyway, that was the end of the dream. But already there's the idea of when things fall apart, there are opportunities there. Like the origin of the word crisis is Greek and it means opportunity. So in every crisis, there's opportunity to grow. But in May, okay, there's a bit of a build up to this story as well. But in May last year, I woke up as a healer,
Very good.
and as I am healing people, I realize I'm not alone. There are other beings coming in to help as well. And one of the sessions I was at, I was doing an online session with her, and I could see her hand lifting up and up and up. And she said to me, "Can you see my hand lifting?" And I said, "Yes." I said, "I'm not lifting it."
Wow.
So there was another being there, and I said, "Do you feel safe?" She said, "Yes." And she felt a lot of love. And I checked to see who it was, and I got that it was Jesus again. And I've a medicine man healer who comes. He works alongside Jesus. They're buddies.
Very good.
And there are other beings who come in and help also, but I realized I'm not alone, and said, "Oh God, here I am sitting at reception. I'm just okay, saying to the person, okay, what do you need? What's your intention?" Then I'm calling in help, and help comes along. So it's like imagine you go to a hospital and you go to reception. You say, "Where's the X-ray department? Where's the where do I go?" So I have created my hospital for the soul as well.
That's incredible.
Yeah, yeah.
Incredible. And I know that I do some drumming as well. I do drumming
Oh
and
yeah.
yeah, and I connect with the drum. I've got five drums and I connect with them. And sometimes when I do some healing work, I can see some beings sometimes. Uh,
Mm.
and I connect more to the drums as well. Like I have, so I think I exactly know what you're talking about when you say beans, like because sometimes I can see them sometimes when I do my drumming. Mm.
Yeah, yeah, me too. It's important to clear in the sacred space and the opening, just because there are lower dimensional beings as well that are not out for our highest and best. So it's important to clear them and create space for the higher beings to come through.
I love what you do. Sorry, I love like that you're a healer as well, and you can do online healing and it's fantastic. I think that's really good to know.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I did a course with an old friend who woke me as a healer, and there were about 10 of us in different parts of the world. And I remember there was a time I used to wonder, does distance healing work? But we were practicing on each other. So there's a woman over in Seattle in the Western United States, and she and I were working together. I was here sitting on this couch in this room
Okay.
and had my eyes closed and reached out my hand and could feel as if she was touching my hand also. Like energetically, our hands were touching.
Wow.
And I